into our Yoko kick, we want to coordinate our body so that it's very smooth. So from here, foot and hand come in together. Now, you're going to pretend like you have a marionette string, puppet string, running from your hand down to this leg. So everything they do is going to be together. Up, out, in, down. Hi there, everyone. Sensei Sarah here with our short October lesson. So if you saw last month's video, I announced that I'm going to be doing a series on common corrections in the Heian katas. So last month we did Heian Shotokan. This month we're going to be doing Heian Nidan. I'm just going to be going through the kata and talking about things that I have to correct quite a bit on the test. That way this video is out there and people can practice. Now, just as things that are more of style decisions, if that's the case, I will let you know. However, most of these are just, like I said, the common corrections that I make. So we're going to go ahead and get started on Heian Nidan. So I mentioned last month, we want to be a little bit more formal about our intro and our exit from the kata. So first step, feet together, bow, announce the kata. Heian Nidan! From there, we're going to begin the kata. So the first thing I tend to correct on this kata is the first stance. So the first thing is we want our foot to only go out. So a lot of times I see kind of this step in to step out. So the movement is simply out. We're only going to move in that direction toward our opponent. Remember, kata is like a practice fight with an invisible opponent. So we want to think like that when we're working through this. The second thing I tend to correct is the actual stance here is a kokutsudachi. So we want 70% on the back leg, 30% on the front leg as we go into this hand movement. Then we're going to grab under, strike, making sure we complete the strike. A lot of times the strike gets shorted, so we want to make sure to follow through on that. Now, the next thing, and this is more of a stylistic advanced movement kind of thing, one option you have for going to the other direction is just switching your feet and then going into the other direction, doing the same thing on this side. However, if you want to utilize an advanced option, you want to really pull that hip, use that rotation to make a strong transition to your right side. So from here, I'm going to use hip rotation to pull me into that position now. And we get a bit of a stronger feel there over just switching our feet. Now, switching your feet is fine, and it will take practice to get that hip rotation, but it just adds that much more oomph to the kata. So the next section, and this is probably my most frequently corrected section, is going to be the Yoko kick, having to do with the movement of the hand and foot at the same time. So when we go into our Yoko kick, we want to coordinate our body so that it's very smooth. So from here, foot and hand come in together. Now, you're going to pretend like you have a marionette string, puppet string, running from your hand down to this leg. So everything they do is going to be together. Up, out, in, down. All right? So if you imagine that string, you're going to get a much more coordinated movement. What I see a lot of times is the hand comes back in before the foot, or it's just not coordinated, the timing's just not right. So if you want this nice, smooth transition, you're looking out, in, down. Now, that's a stylistic option right there. You definitely can come in, put your foot down, and then go into Shotokan. I find it to be a bit of a stronger movement or transition into that kokutsu stance if you come straight from here. Plus, you can get that nice foot placement and that strong emphasis on going into Shotokan. So from there, and I'm moving around a bit, I just want to be able to show y'all from the side. We're going to do our Shotokan. Ai! Into Nukete. Make sure that Nukete is nice and centered. Remember, Nukete is going to go for the throat. It could be the solar plexus. We don't want the side. So make sure that's nice and centered. Okay, from there, we go into our 4 Shotokan from Kokutsudachi. So I talked about this last month in my video about the weight distribution shifting as you move through the kokutsus. So you definitely want to work to keep all the kokutsus consistent. You don't want to be shifting up and down. You don't want your weight to shift forward as you move. So the idea here, nice stance. You want to keep that weight distribution the same. And so I demonstrated this last month. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this again. What I often see is maybe the first kokutsu is pretty nice, but as you move through, your weight starts shifting forward, your stance starts shifting upward, and then by the end, you're either like 50-50 or you're shifting too far forward, and you just don't look the same as you did at the beginning. So you want to keep all four consistent, looking the same. All right, from there, we're going to go into uchimawashi uke. So this is a nice slow movement. You can even exhale, demonstrate some breathing at that point. So when we're doing kata, my sensei always used to tell me, slow is slow, fast is fast. So when you're doing a slow movement, you want to exaggerate the slowness. When you're doing a fast movement, exaggerate the fastness. So from here, again, and this is probably the second most corrected part I do right here. So it's really important that when you do these kicks, that they come back in. So a lot of times what I see is dropping forward. We don't want to do that because that shifts our center of gravity forward and it puts us closer and leaned into our opponent with less control. So what we want to do, what I call recoil, bring it back, and then go into our punch. And notice I'm working to land my foot as my punch comes out. Okay? Same thing here. Pull back, recoil. Now I'm going to go into my marote uke. So I want my whole body to carry me into that marote uke. So I don't want to just move my hands. I want my whole body to push into that marote uke. And then so the final part of the kata, we go gidan barai. Make sure you're pointing full at that 45-degree angle. Nice age uke. Gidan barai, full 45-degree angle. Hi! And then just like we talked about in my last video on hand shodan, this isn't the end of the kata, so you don't just get up, you're finished. We end nicely in yame, bow, back to Shizen time. So those are my common corrections on Heian Nidan. If you have any questions, comments, always feel free to message me. And I will see you in a couple of months with Heian Sandan.